Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is 9:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Erin Kopek, the Marketing Director for Extra Help, a workforce management resource. Today you have joined our webinar entitled Tips for Understanding Military Culture, and our presenter is Oliver King, and he'll be introduced momentarily. The Workplace Webinars is an exciting program that we offer our clients and colleagues to help manage some of your workplace changes, challenges, and bring on workplace efficiency. This call will last about 1 hour. Everyone is set up as listen-only mode. So if you do have questions, you're welcome to type them in on the questioning function bar at the bottom, and we will relay those questions at the very end of the presentation. So let's get started. I want to introduce Oliver King. He joined the Extra Help team in Montgomery, Alabama in October 2014. His focus is on client retention, capturing business development opportunities, and working with strategic relationships with referral partners throughout the community. He obtained a Bachelor's of Business Management from Grantham University and has extensive military experience and served over 21 years in the United States Army. Oliver also worked in the human resources field for over 16 years as an HR generalist, HR manager, and recruiter. He brings knowledge and experience to our Alabama team that will help him be successful with our company. So everyone, let's go ahead and turn it over to Oliver, and let's see what he can teach us today about military and recruiting in the workplace.
Thank you so much, Erin, and good morning, everyone. Like Erin said, I'm Oliver King, and I'm a veteran myself, so doing this webinar is very special to me because I understand both sides of the story as far as veteran goes and employers goes. Let's get started here. With veterans, veterans are a great source of talent for civilian employers. Veterans believe, and also they can bring distinct capabilities, valuable skills developed through real-world, high-pressure experience. In addition, we as employers, we have opportunity to earn tax incentives for each veteran employees, all while goodwill and with our stakeholders. After the longest war that we have been fighting for over years now, over 2.9 million service members will be returning to civilian life, and at an estimate 1 million more will do so for the next 5 years. Employers have an opportunity to capture this talent for their organization and to help veterans transition back. Well, how we can do it is we must, gain a better understanding of veteran experience and the business case for hiring veterans. And we also must build an organization understanding of veteran capabilities. Although public programs are out here to assist veterans and employers, many employers lack the understanding and capabilities to leverage veterans as a strategic source of talent. With this webinar, the intent is to help us as employers leverage veterans' talent by addressing two basic questions. What are the best practices to understand veterans' resumes and interviewing veterans? What resources are available to assist us as employers to understand military lingo? This is going to be pretty much like Military 101. It's going to be a crash course, so just bear with me, and later on in the future, we're also going to come back together and I can break down more about what different services and more lingo, so you will help you understand on how to establish your veteran recruiting projects, so you can recruit veterans. All right. Well, everybody pretty much knows we have 5 military branches: the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Each has a different mission and culture. Each branch also has 2 main statuses: active duty and reserve. Active duty service members serve in the military full-time. Reserve service members are required to serve in a part-time basis, a minimum of 1 weekend a month, with 2 weeks of annual training each year. Although many serve as full-time support or activated to full-time status when needed. Veterans serving in either status often have identical skills and experience. There are some common terminology across all services. You will see these on resumes and in government documentations required for tax credits for us employers, or hear them during the interview. You will hear such things as DD 214. This is a summary of active duty military experience. You will use this to verify your employee's official veteran status, whether they got out on the honorable, dishonorable, or general discharge, and you also use this to apply for your tax breaks. Also, some of the things you will also hear is MOS, AFSC, and NEC. All of these refer to job codes or what type of job the person held while they was in the military. In the Army, for example, an MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty. Let's use one for example. A 15R, which in the Army stands for 15 Romeo. It means that the soldier is an Apache helicopter crew member. That means that the person worked on the helicopter and also flies with the pilots to ensure that the helicopter is well maintained. In the Air Force used what they call the AFSC, the Air Force Specialty Code, which works as the same thing as the Army. Also on resumes, you will see such things as non-commissioned officer, or NCO, or JMO, which is junior military officer. A non-commissioned officer, they are mid to senior level military leaders in charge of training and managing teams. If you see NCO on a resume, the candidate has significant management experience and training experience. When it comes to military officers, especially at lower level military leaders, they are what we call, what their experience is pretty much in the Army, for example, a junior officer could be someone at the rank of ranging from second lieutenant to captain. In the Navy, it could be someone ranging from ensign to lieutenant. But we must remember, just because it's titled one thing in one service, it still means the same level of leadership in the other service. You just have different titles. Military culture. Military culture is a lifestyle. It's just not a job. It's something that has been instilled in all of us as veterans. As you can see, military culture is detailed, it's structured, and decisive. That is just some of the things that we as veterans that are instilled in us. With having military culture, veterans can bring distinctive capabilities to civilian employers, such things as teamwork and leadership, accountability, adaptability, team players, and experienced leadership. With accountability, the superior personal and team accountability, veterans understand policies and procedures to help an organization function. With their experience in operating in ambiguous situations and flexibility in fluid environments, they are able to understand the capabilities and motivation of each individual regardless of background to maximize team effectiveness. They are also battle tested with their leadership from the front and by example. They are able to inspire devoted followers and lead groups to accomplish unusual higher expectations. Veterans are very disciplined. They are self-reliant. and they demonstrate initiative, ownership, and personal responsibility while leveraging all available assets and team members to ensure success. They are very resilient, getting things done despite difficult conditions, tight deadlines, and limited resources. They have a strong work ethic, belief in the value of hard work and taking initiative, and they are value-driven, proven experience, dedication themselves to a cause. Veterans take pride in the mission, value, and success of the organization. There are three main categories of rank: enlisted, personnel, warrant officers, and commissioned officers. All commissioned officers outrank all warrant officers, and all warrant officers outrank all enlisted personnel. With each category, there is also hierarchy, with each rank assigned a letter/number designation and a title. For example, lieutenant. A lieutenant is an O1, and a sergeant is an E5, which is known as a junior NCO. Officer ranks are started with an O. Warrant officer ranks will start with a W, and enlisted rank will start as an E. The lowest officer rank is an O1, and the highest is an O10. The titles of ranks differ from service to service. An O1 in the Army is called a second lieutenant, while an O1 in the Navy is called an ensign. But both are equal in rank since they both are O1s. Remember, while O1 technically outranks an E8, their job skills and experience will be different. An E8 will have years of experience, including management, but O1 might be brand new to the military. As general rule, you can equate a high number rank to more experience. For example, ask the E8 with the O1. The E8 will have more experience because, of course, he's been in the longest. He will have more management skills. The O1 is pretty much freshly out of college. So, of course, they really don't have any type of management skills yet. Most of the time, the E8 will help develop the O1 or the junior officers when they first come in, especially senior NCOs. This is E7 and E9. That's pretty much their job, is to take the O1s, O2s, and O3s up under their wing to help develop them into leaders. The military places its members in leadership and managerial position within 1 to 3 years of joining the service. The average 26-year-old service member will have more years of supervising people than the average 30-plus civilian. And they have done this under much more challenging situations. Let's look at this slide. The level of managerial responsibility by military grade. As you can see, with junior officers, mid-grade officers, and senior officers, they all have college degrees. It's mandatory that they have college degrees. A junior officer will have 4 years experience from O1 to O2, and O3 will have 9 years experience. And they will manage between 40 and 100 people. I'll give you a couple of seconds to look over the slide so that you can see what different managerial experience that a person will have along with their education as well. But I would also like to point out one thing with the warrant officers. If you notice that they do not have managerial experience, but they are our technical experts. Majority of them majority of them do have some form of managerial experience because most of them have came from the enlisted ranks, mostly mid-grade or senior enlisted ranks. So do not get confused as far as not having managerial skills because this chart says no, but that's why we have an asterisk by it. All right. Untapped market. There are currently 1.9 million unemployed veterans nationwide. 18 to 24-year-old veterans are over twice as likely as their civilian counterparts to be unemployed, but oftentimes they have far more real-world experience. Some of the problems that veterans say they have is finding a job, and that is challenging when they are transitioning back to the civilian world. Right now, veterans are looking for work that is meaningful, and many are pursuing education to build more skills. More troops are coming home. After the two longest wars in our nation's history, more than 2.9 million military personnel will return from service, and another 1 million will make the transition over the next 5 years. This is due to over $492 million in cuts by the Budget Control Act of 2011. The thing about this is a lot of veterans probably would not be at your location where you are currently is right now, but most veterans are willing to relocate if the job is right and they feel like they are fit in the company. Employers who help veterans make transition will be able to most effectively capitalize on opportunities. But the first thing first is employers must become more effective at understanding the skills and experience of veterans. They must take the time to understand military experience and value it brings. Later on within this webinar, I'm going to give you information as far as websites you can go up on there to help you identify and to interpret military skills and what experience the veteran will bring to you. We must also utilize best practice for hiring veterans. Along with the website, you will also see some of the things that employers have already established out here to help recruit veterans and some of the best practices that they use to have an outstanding interview and also establishing a veteran hiring program. Providing assistance to veterans transition to civilian workforce. This right here is probably the most critical advice that anyone can give any employer, because providing assistance to veterans transition to civilian workforce is a big deal. We all have to remember that a veteran has been, especially the ones that has been in for over 3 years, they have adapted to the way of life of military. So they have learned different lingos, they have learned different skills and behaviors that out here civilians, workforces, and employers just don't understand. So it's best to have an assistant program to help veterans to transition to civilian workforce so that the veteran can feel comfortable at working at your business. Let's look at the best practices for resumes. The first thing we must do is translate experience to civilian world. We must leverage key resources for translating military roles via military classification code, like I stated earlier, as far as the MOSs. Over 80% of roles have direct civilian equivalents. However, such classifications may not reflect the candidate's full skill set or preferences, and thus you should confirm responsibility with the candidate. Develop a profile of key skills and capabilities acquired from service applicable to the role. This should be a list of core capabilities or a scorecard of desired skills matched to the evidence suggesting such capabilities. Focus on evidence of successful teamwork. Even more in the private sector, such in the military requires thriving in team. Look for indicators of distinction. See candidates that excel while in the military. Potential evidence distinction of the resume includes awards, positions given on to higher performers and terms, for example, meritorious promotion, that indicate quick hierarchical progression. Leverage internal veteran employees to understand different awards, distinction roles, and pay grades cited on the resume. Avoid passing judgment without understanding. Do not mistake military speak, as we call it, for more communication skills. In the military, the ability to communicate quickly and efficiently in the language literally saves lives. Avoid confusing a lack of industry experience with a lack of necessary capabilities or ability to learn required skills. Ask the person to read each resume to ensure candidate is being given proper consideration and is not at risk of discrimination. If possible, have one of the reviewers be someone with a military background. Some of the best practices for interviewing veterans. Before the interview, provide interview coaching for candidates by phone or on base particular by veteran employees. Study candidate's skill profile scorecard to determine which experience and capabilities, strengths and weaknesses to further explore during the interview. Hold at least 2 interviews for each candidate. If possible, a veteran employee should conduct 1 interview to provide inside the military perspective. The other should be completed by non-veteran employee to prevent bias. During the interview, prompt candidate to speak freely. Service members may have hard time selling themselves due to military emphasis on team, not individual accomplishments. Recognize formal military communication style may cause candidates to appear cold or distant and erroneously suggest poor social skills. Avoid questions that violate candidates' privacy or make many candidates feel uncomfortable. These include questions about combat experience or mental health. For example, did you see any actions out there while you were deployed? And also upcoming service requirements. If a candidate is in the Reserve and National Guard, this can be unlawful to discriminate on the basis of membership of those 2. After the interview, make sure we revise candidate skill profile based on input received from interviewers. Leverage internal veterans to understand accomplishment, job progression, or accommodations mentioned during interview. Document best practices to ensure that organizational learning is captured. What types of military roles translated to successful candidates? which questions enable organizations to best access veteran skills? These are some resources that we can use as employers to help us understand what jobs and what experience that each individual candidate brings to our office. We can use these right here to also help develop a recruiting tool to recruit veterans as well. Are there any questions?
All right, I do not see that there's any questions. We'll wait about 1 minute. If anybody has anything they would like to type in the question bar, we will give you that opportunity right now. Otherwise, you can reach out to Oliver at oking@extrahelpinc.com. It looks like we have a couple people asking for copies of the slides. We will share those after the presentation for everyone that attended.
Okay.
All right, well that's it. Thank you everyone, and let us know if you have any more questions. Otherwise you will receive the PowerPoint. Have a great day.